It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. When you hear that tight beat, it can only mean one thing. Black Table Talk is back on the
Black Table.
air. And I am your host, Justin Riley, and with me are my two prestigious co-hosts, Mr. DYDC Julian Todd and Mr. CAPARRISH. What's that mean? Incredible. Chris Parrish. What is going on, gentlemen?
Hey, I'm good.
Man, I'm pretty proud of myself. I spelled something over four letters.
I can definitely tell that Chris is in the mode. He has the incense burning in the background.
Oh, snap. Oh, man, what's about to happen?
Ambiance. He's got the ambiance.
It's a little oil diffuser, man. You got to get the aromatherapy going, so we can keep our zen. That's what we do here. We keep calm.
Somebody must have pissed you off, man. Who was it? What's her name?
I ain't going to use no name. I'm just going to tell the
story. Which brings us to our first segment. By the way, before we do anything else, I want everybody to stop what they're doing right now, and I want y'all to hit that like button, because if you don't, y'all need to leave. And then two, I want y'all to hit subscribe to this channel. And also, if you can't get enough of us, well, we got plenty of episodes for you to go back and watch to find out what we're all about. But we are, as always, brought to you by Todd's Terrific Turf.
Don't forget it.
Don't ever forget it. And let's go ahead and move into story time. What you got, Julian?
Man, I just got life. I honestly have life, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I've got a lot of inquiries. I've got a lot of surprising DMs in results to Black Table Talk, man. And a lot stemming from our last episode where we kind of discussed the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. So, man, as we go into this, man, I'm going to tie kind of into what we talked about last time into this and try to answer some of those questions. So, for those guys who sent the DMs, who sent the questions, thank you so much. Hope y'all are watching tonight. I'm going to get to those pretty soon.
And if you have not seen that episode, folks, I encourage you strongly. Please go back and watch that. That probably is our most watched and most talked about episode as of yet. We also had the most engagement, which we really appreciate that. We definitely appreciate our friends from the UK tuning in. So we are now an international brand.
We're going global.
Global.
Give it up for yourselves. Give it up for yourselves.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before we get to our main topics, I want to start things off with stupid news. Of course, there's a lot to choose from here as of late, but the glaring thing for those of us who are wrestling fans is none other than 85-year-old Vince McMahon, who apparently has had an affair at 85 years old with someone who's 40 years younger than he is. The news popped up earlier this week across ESPN and all major news outlets. For those not associated with the WWE or who could care less, they were outraged. For WWE fans, they all said, "We've already seen this storyline before."
It's Vince, right?
So, a lot of emotions going centered around this. Stephanie McMahon, his daughter, has been appointed the chairman as of right now. But crazy stuff happening in WWE. And the thing is, like I said, for those of us who follow wrestling, have been following over the course of the past 10, 15, 20, 30 plus years, Vince McMahon is no stranger to acts like this. So, fellas, go ahead. Let's start talking about that. Julian, lead off.
I will, man. And honestly, man, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked. Once again, if you're a wrestling fan, this is Vince McMahon. It's not like he hasn't televised this or even put part of his real life into the actual storyline that is WWE. So it's not shocking to see it happen. But it's shocking that so many non-disclosure agreements, or NDAs as they call it, are coming out not just from Vince McMahon, but from also, the president of talent relations, John Laurinaitis, saying that, he did the exact same thing. And people are shocked. They are outraged. What can a 40-year-old woman want with an 85-year-old man if he has billions of dollars? I mean, who knows what could she possibly want? I ain't got no idea.
That $3 million in hush money, it was definitely a motivator. But go ahead, don't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, ain't no interruption. $3 million apparently just made her whisper. It didn't make her be quiet because she still told somebody.
Does he get his money back? Does he Is there a
He should.
refund
I,
policy?
I, I would be a countersuing son of a gun. Oh, okay. This is what we doing.
Yeah, every bit of petty would be coming out at this point with
Yeah,
me,
man.
but
Yeah, but you would think of somebody of Vincent Mann's high caliber. They would say you think somebody like that would not do it. The thing that I would have to admit is that he's just the one millionaire that got caught. I mean, there are plenty of guys who do it. He just happened to be a very big polarizing figure, and he got kind of caught in his web of what he was doing. Vince did come out on SmackDown, and he didn't say anything other than, "Hey, glad you guys are here. Welcome to SmackDown." But that in itself was a power move. Vince is showing everybody that, hey, I know this is going on right now. I'm not running from the camera. I'm still Vince McMahon.
yeah.
And once again, I'm not going to okay what he did. It's definitely not right. If you're in a relationship, be faithful, be loyal. That's what it's all about. But once again, if you're a wrestling fan, it's Vince. And once again, he's not the only person to do it. He just happened to be the only person that's worth $1 billion in the media right now. That did it. So,
Mr. Parrish, your thoughts on apparently Viagra working?
I would love to talk about Vince, man, but we gotta mention Sasha Banks.
Oh, of course, we're going to turn to that.
Sasha Banks.
Maybe we should have talked about this beforehand. I don't know what but
I'll talk about Sasha, man. They let Sasha go this past week, and a lot of it, as they say, you don't know if it's kayfabe, you don't know if it's like the real storyline, stem for her and Naomi walking out, But with that being said, man, I hated Sasha Banks had to go. I would definitely consider her a top tier talent in the WWE when it comes to the women's wrestling, compared to the other female talent that's there. So Sasha Banks, we miss you. Can't wait for you to be back. Hopefully, everybody come back. If Bret Hart came back to the WWE, anything is possible.
Absolutely.
Let's be real.
And you do question that because, those of us who are wrestling fans, we understand the business as a whole now. It's not just the mythical fairy tale world that we saw as kids. We understand the ins and outs
of wrestling in our life.
So anytime we see a major event like MJF going off on national television and then now Sasha Banks, at first the knee-jerk reaction is, oh my God, pipe bomb. Can you believe what's happening? But then when you kind of sit back and let it process, you ask yourself, okay, wait a minute. Is this a work to try to get to an ultimate goal and kind of draw fans in, tuning in? And is it also kind of a way to push pause on their career right now and then bring them back later on with a lot of push behind them?
Yep.
And possibly for a title run. So.
And all I'm saying is that WWE has proved year after year, decade after decade, that they are a marketing genius. Even though everyone may not agree with all of the marketing things that they do, and I'm one of them, they've been around for years, and they apparently have an idea of what they're doing. So once again, I hope Sasha Banks is not gone because I enjoyed her in the ring. So I hope that she comes back. Chris is definitely a huge fan. He really loves her entrance. Like lean off the rope. Blow me a kiss. Bye. It's
There's an Instagram page that I like subscribe to. I'm like, yo, they have every entrance. I mean, like it's the baddest entrance. I've just got to give it up, man. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta admit something. I haven't been a wrestling fan since The Rock left. That's how I am with sports. Sometimes I'll latch on to a certain person in that sport. When Mike left the NBA, yes, Michael Jordan, I stopped watching for a little stretch. Same thing with The Rock. I have my person that I like.
Well, his person now is Sasha Banks. I guess he's gone again.
No, I completely understand that. The product has not been the same really since the Rock's generation has moved on. And as far as the NBA goes, I can understand what you're saying there. I kind of started losing interest after ultimately Shaq and Kobe retired. And then the game completely changed. It's not the same animal. But we're not here to talk about all that. I just thought we bring up stupid news. And I'm sure as we progress in the series, we will have plenty of candidates who are going to fulfill that role. But yeah, let's get into it, guys. We're here to talk about what's controversial. We're also here to call folks out, and especially if you're a beta male, if this is not
This is not
something
the
that
channel
you
for
can
you.
handle, then
It's
I
not.
decide go listen to your Taylor Swift somewhere else. Well, let's go
I
ahead
like Taylor
and this
Swift.
show the focal point of our first topic. Nice little TikTok video, and it's actually meant to be a comedy, but there's so much truth behind it, and y'all will soon understand when I show
Oh yes.
the video.
Let's do it.
I'm sorry, I never do stuff like this, but I noticed you from over there and I thought you were really pretty, so I was wondering if you want to maybe grab a coffee or something sometime.
Yeah, I can't.
Oh, you have a boyfriend?
No, I'm just not interested. Sorry.
Okay, bitch. You're not even that hot anyway.
You know what? You're right.
Excuse me?
You're right. I'm really not that hot anyway. I mean, who was I to reject a great guy like you? We should go out.
Oh. I guess I don't know what to say. That line has never worked for me before.
Well, just say yes.
I don't know. This doesn't feel right. You're clearly way too hot for me.
But you just said I wasn't hot.
Nah, see, that was just a coping mechanism to deal with the rejection. I never even expected to be in this situation.
Well, just give me a chance. Please.
No.
No, please, just give me a chance. I'll do anything for you. Please, just give me a chance. Come on.
Oh!
Give me a chance.
Boy,
Boy,
boy, allow me to elaborate.
yes, by all means, get the
Man.
car started and pull it out the driveway.
Man, there are so many cases, man, and I can definitely say personal examples of definitely when I was single, man. You go out, you see an attractive woman, you are the gentleman as a gentleman should be. You introduce yourself, you ask her name, you find out that, and hey, would you like to go grab a bite to eat? Now she has nothing on the agenda. She has nothing to do. But what does she do? She turns you down. Why does she turn you down? Not because she's not interested, because she wants you to try harder. And that is the reason there are so many single people out here in the world. Like they think that they deserve more of your effort than what you gave them. Now, in a relationship, I can understand. If we're just getting to meet you, hey, wait a minute. Cool your jets. In the words of Shawn Michaels to the British Bulldog sister, stop flattering yourself. I just think people should be honest. Like in that case, she saw, hey, you know what? I was just rejecting you just because I wanted to reject you. I didn't feel like being bothered today. But in actuality, I actually do want a man. You know what? I wouldn't mind your company. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry, ass. I saw you, figured I tried. Didn't even think I thought you would tell me no, but you didn't, and you told me, yeah, I'm good. So man, I think a lot of that is just a lot of truth revolving around how people interact. People have forgotten how to do that. If you don't send somebody a DM, then you're not communicating.
I completely agree with that, but it's just funny now that it continues to show the ideal, the popular ideal that women want the bad guy, they want the challenge, they want the project, and even though they're taught their entire life that they are princesses and that Prince Charming is going to come into their life on the white horse and do for them and do for them, and in their minds they kind of want that, but then the desire to be with the bad guy overtakes that, and they completely rule out Prince Charming because they want the project.
I tell you what, man, I understand. A lot of women think that they're the princess because of their father. And once again, this goes back to having a good male role model as you grew up. I'm raising all of my daughters to believe their worth, to believe that they deserve to be treated great, to believe that they are a princess. You deserve to be treated correctly. The bad problem is that there are a lot of women who are raised that way. And because they're raised that way, they don't act that way because their father treated them that way out of unconditional love. So they think that every man they meet is going to treat them out of unconditional love. The bad thing is that a lot of these women are sitting here acting like every man is their Prince Charming and they're their princess when a lot of these women are the town fool. You are the idiot. And not to be said that off of guys, because a lot of guys think that they deserve more than what they are, or they think they deserve better when they're not putting in the effort themselves. And a lot of these guys are the town fool.
Hey man, I go back to the golden rule. The golden rule, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated.
That's all.
I mean, hey, you know, and all of these, folks on social media, who want to make these videos and all that type of stuff. Hey, everybody want to be treated well. Everybody wants to be treated well. No brainer. But at the end of the day, if you want to be treated like a princess, whatever the case may be, you need to be providing an incentive to anybody who's around you to treat you that way. It's not just something that you're entitled to.
Yep, entitlement. Hey, say that word one more time. We're gonna spell it out.
Hey, man. ENTI.
No, man, you're right, man. A lot of people are just like they're not giving what they want. They have what they have as a personality, and they, hey, you know what? This is enough. You should love me for me. Nah, you ain't good enough. Like you have to provide more, or they think, as a lot of people say, God, why have the cow when you can get the milk for free? Let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. When you're dating as a cow, you got to give a little bit of milk. You can't just say, well, they can't have the milk too. Yes, they can. They have to. They have to. Because let me ask you a question: if you have a cow that's supposed to produce milk and it don't produce milk, is it a good cow? It's not. It is not at all.
And plus, man, it might be a pretty heifer, but if it's producing sour milk, you better get to the next farm.
And help us out.
But I kind of look at it, and I've had conversations with guys who suffer from chasing the girls who want the bad guy. A lot of these guys, a lot of these girls, and I'm just picking on girls. It seems like a lot of our themes are women centered. So please don't think we're picking on y'all at all. This applies to a certain sector, but I believe that in the minds of these women who are refusing the good guy, they have the rent of Prince Charming, or the Prince Charming on a shelf, meaning that in the back of their mind, they can always go back to them if something doesn't quite work or something falls through, or when I'm ready for that stage in my life years later, I can always go back to them. But the problem is these simps are allowing themselves to be the rent of Prince Charming, to pick up the pieces when somebody does them wrong and give them that shoulder to cry on, or who waits around on the shelf and when they finally see the light. Any truth to that,
Man,
guys?
it's a lot of truth to it, man. Because I can't co-sign anybody's BS. I can't just look at you as an adult and you tell me, you know what, I've dealt with this, and that's why I'm this way, and that's why I'm not changing. Okay, that's exactly why I'm not gonna mess with you. Like you just given me the exact reason why. Because if someone can look at themselves in the mirror, but like, I'm this way, and that's why I'm the way I am, I'm not changing, then you're not good at self-reflection. I'm not perfect by a long shot, and I can look at myself every day and be like, hey, you know what? You need to improve on this. Maybe it's something you didn't do well yesterday that you can do better today, but you're not gonna be a perfectionist at it once you try to start getting better at it. But for the people who continue to keep trying, like if trying and doing are two completely different things. You can't be in a relationship for 50 years and keep trying. You got to be in a relationship for
Mm-hmm.
50 years and do.
Mhm.
Unproductive, Chris. Talk about it.
One of my favorite buzzwords. You know what I'm talking. I mean, it goes beyond relationships. It truly does. I'm the type of person who likes to follow a line of reasoning, or a path of logic that's been shown and proved. And my thing is, just like with anything else, man, you got to be productive. Like, what are your actions conducive to? What's happening? The way you think, the things you do. What's the byproduct of any of it? You know what I mean? That's what I always lean back
Why?
to. Yeah, the why. I mean, the why is important, man. Like, simping. Y'all just talked about simping a second ago. I ain't never seen nobody happy
To
in that
Sim.
bro.
Mm-mm.
To Sim.
I ain't never seen that play out well for anybody. So
It is not.
now the question is, why would you do it? Why would you take that path as I understand being infatuated and just, really interested in a person. but that has to be something. Your core values at some point has to stick. It has to be something about yourself that allows you to approach things with a certain state of mind. You know what I mean? And that's that's my issue with being just being out here, just doing whatever. You know what I mean? Being unproductive. You know what I mean? We
Yep.
can't.
Productive.
We gotta take a step back, like you said, had that moment of self reflection. Excuse me.
My gosh.
But my bad.
Wow.
But
Is that a bill collector? Are you about to be cut off in the middle of the show?
yes, it is a bill collector. Please like and subscribe to our show.
Yeah, man. But like I'm saying, man, it's just there's just so many ways that people are like not choosing to grow, and they're choosing to just kind of stay how they are. And then once again, that doesn't bode well for anybody.
Yeah, and if anybody lets you sit there being anchored and not growing, then they're taking life out of you. So why in the world would you continue to pursue someone like that? Now, when it comes to simping, first of all, you might as well go ahead and throw reason and logic out the door, as well as core values, like you mentioned, Chris, because you're not thinking with the right mindset. You're blinded by an illusion. And you know what? And this goes back to where we talked about in previous episodes. Who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you have, fellas, do you have those boys who are going to be able to pull you out of crap when you don't realize you're standing in the pile? This segment brought to you by Budweiser.
That sounds familiar.
Like I said, I always go back to it. People who are involved in this, man, even though it doesn't make sense, there is no logic. It's an addiction. They're giving into something that's false. It isn't real. But the thing is, they're not strong enough at this point when they are simping, when they're doing these things and these behaviors are coming out. They're not strong enough to pull themselves out on their own.
Yeah, man, because a lot of people are too afraid to tell other people, and especially their closest friends, the truth. Like, hey, if you suck as an individual, if I suck as an individual, you know who I would love to hear from? You guys. You know why?
Yeah.
Because y'all in my circle. Hey, Julian, you're messing up. That's who I'm going to listen to. But a lot of these people surround themselves purposely with yes men, so they don't have to look at their own reflection or look at themselves in the mirror. It's easy to think you're doing everything right when everyone around you is simply agreeing with you and not saying, hey, you need to fix this about yourself. I tell people this all the time, man. If you have a group of people around you and all they do is nod and smile at everything you do, change your circle. Like, change your circle. Like don't be afraid to be wrong. And a lot of times, once again, that causes growth to happen. And when people don't have that, they don't grow, and thus they stay the same. You have a lot of people in their 30s and 40s with a very childlike mentality of, oh, it's not my fault, or I can't take accountability for my own. And they carry that into a relationship. And when they carry that to a relationship, oh, I'm putting all this stress on my partner. Why is my partner never? It's your fault. Like it's yours. Like, stop putting this kind of stress on somebody else, expecting them to carry it, and wonder why their mood is diminishing when they're normally a happy person. You're doing this. Stop. Like do better. But that comes from a place of being able to look at yourself in the mirror and self-analyze.
Back to the point you made of, a lot of times, the people who are caught up in this will try to hide it and not talk about it. But if you have the right people around you, you only have to say a word to them. They know. They know you. They know your heartbeat.
Yep.
And if you're caught up in this toxicity, your whole world is going to look a whole lot different, like you just mentioned. You're not going to look the same. Your habits aren't going to be the same. Look, your bank account's not going to be the same. Your health is going to go down. You're going to walk around looking like a crackhead. I mean, you're going to look like you're near death. I mean, that's the truth. And those who are close to you and have your best interests at heart are going to see all that.
Yep.
Yeah, you'll just let things literally drain the life out of you. I mean, you'll be losing weight. Folks will be complimenting, yo, you looking good. I'm
sick. Need help.
Like, But I tell you, one thing y'all both said, man. People who lack the ability to self-reflect, self-analyze, self-examine themselves. I mean, those are just the worst. I mean, in any capacity. We're not talking about being a part their spouse or their. We just talk about in any capacity, in any relationship where you would have to deal with a person like they they will be the worst.
Yeah.
And that's what's the solution? Who knows? But I mean, at some point you have to learn how to be self-reflective, look at what you've done, and be able to. I could have tightened up on that. I could have did that better, so on and so forth.
Yeah. No, man, I agree, man. And also really depends on what kind of friends you have. Because I have some friends, in my circle they're really involved in the church. They're deeply rooted in the church. And so a lot of their answers of how should I handle this situation comes from a biblical standpoint. And I appreciate that. I have friends who are deeply rooted in the church, not as deeply as this person, but they're deeply rooted in the church. So their reflection is going to come from a very biblical, but also a very personal standpoint. I have some friends with a very personal opinion. It's not going to be biblical at all. It's just going to give me their opinion. But see, but by having these people specifically in your circle, like you get three different outlooks on what could be a solution. Because if you have everybody in your circle cut from the same mode, you're not going to be able to have that realm of thinking, because everyone is going to have you thinking the same way, because you could be thinking completely differently from one friend versus the other one. But if you only have this one friend telling you one thing and that's all they're telling you, you're gonna start thinking, what, maybe I should think that way, instead of hearing other people say, hey, you know what, that's a problem, and you say, hey, you know what, they think like this too, maybe I'm on to something. It once again, it just goes around to having those yes men in your circle and having those people who are going to be real with you. I pride myself on being very cut and dry. I'm very blunt, I'm very straight, and I'm very to the point. My dad told me a long time ago, you can't sugarcoat shit, and we all know why, because once you bite into it, it still tastes like shit. So it takes
it's
that
a bit
friend.
nutty.
Yeah, it's a little bit crunchy. It takes that friend like to be real with you, man, to be open with you. And once again, if you have things you need to fix, it's good to hear that, because you can't take these insecurities or other problems into a relationship, put it on somebody else to make you feel better about yourself. It's called self-esteem.
Right.
Self-esteem.
And
Self-esteem.
folks,
Self-esteem.
if you are trying to, if you go through 10 no men still in search of that one yes man, maybe you need to really reevaluate what it is you're trying to pursue.
Now I'm trying to tell you. But let me tell you this. If you're 37 years old still saying ninjas ain't crap, you're the problem.
Can you say that again, sir?
If you're 38 years old saying ninjas ain't crap, you the problem. Stop blaming them. Stop blaming them. I don't pick from a basket of bad fruit and keep complaining that I keep getting bad fruit. It's a bad basket. Move on.
You got to be careful who you give your basket to, which leads me to the point of men. Listen, men who are good-hearted, who are raised right by a father and a mother who teach how to truly love. There's nothing wrong with being chivalrous. There's nothing wrong with being a Prince Charming, but not every girl is a princess. Sometimes they're the evil queen.
I agree. Or the stepsisters.
So you got to be careful about who you give it to. By all means, don't stop doing what you're doing, man. Don't stop living out the Boys to Men songs from back in the day that telling you how to love and cherish a woman.
We belong together.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, for everybody born after 98, they're going back in 94. I'm talking about all white linen suits on bended knee.
On bended knee. For you young folks who are watching, y'all might need to go find these things called CDs from your parents' closet.
No, man, but you're exactly right, though, man. Like, a lot of people look at being chivalrous as being weak. And once again,
right,
it's so easy to confuse that because of what social media is pushing on everybody. That once again, that chivalry is dead. No, it is not. I think when it comes to chivalry, a lot of people have stopped appreciating it, so a lot of people stop doing it. But back to your point, Justin, just because somebody doesn't appreciate it doesn't mean you should stop. it means you should find somebody that appreciates it.
Exactly. Yeah. Do
Yeah.
good. Do good only to those who are good. You
Amen.
got. Hey, you got.
Right.
That sounded like scripture, did it, bro? Do
It does.
good.
Hallelujah.
Going past. And let me piggyback off of what y'all just said. Social media wants you to believe that chivalry and simping are the same thing. They are not the same thing.
Not.
Do not buy into that lie.
They're not.
Like I said, be chivalrous to the right person. Chivalry is a strength. It's not a weakness.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
you're giving it to the
simping.
wrong person, if that girl you're chasing does give you time of day, be careful because she's about to use it to her advantage and
I
take
would.
from you and take
I would.
life.
I would describe chivalry as being uh, persistence with insight. And simping is persistence without insight. You
Oh
just
my boy, I need
hey,
you to elaborate
hey,
on
hey,
that because I know
that's
what you're saying, but they don't know what you're saying.
All right.
what
People in the
that's what
audience right now, after you hit the like button, I want y'all to focus on what he's about to say. Don't miss this point.
You made me turn sideways and sit
I
up. Go
said.
on, talk now.
Mm.
Chivalry is persistence with insight. Simping is persistence without insight. I'm gonna tell you, persistence without insight in any capacity is going to lead to nothing but failure. I'm just going to let you know it's disastrous. But chivalry is persistence, knowing why you're doing what you're doing. That's the insight.
Mm.
You could be chivalrous. You can hold open the doors. Be accommodating. Be thoughtful and considerate. You can do all of these things, knowing that the result of it is supposed to be something that you benefit from. See, simping is just doing stuff just to do it. You just like, hey, I hope this works out. Being chivalrous is like, hey, I'm doing this for somebody who hopefully is going to reciprocate, my effort and the things that I do, and that I can receive something that's beneficial to me. And that's how I would separate the two.
Bro, let me tell you something,
I
man.
think you're spot on.
Chase has a wider meaning. It makes people think, oh, wait a minute. Sorry, but I went to my wrong definition, bro. Let me go skip that and go back to what I was saying originally, bro. But I told my wife a long time ago, man, during when we were dating, I reached a point in my life when it comes to dating that I was not willing to chase anybody. I was not going to chase anybody, bro. You know who chases things, bro? A wild animal trying to get a meal. You know why? Because they're chasing, hoping to catch it. They chase it, hoping to catch it. They see it. Hey, I'm gonna chase it. I hope to catch it. Let me tell you, when you pursue something, you know why you're chasing what you're chasing. You know the reason you're chasing it. You know how to
Mhm.
chase it. Excuse me. You know how to pursue it. You know how to get what you want. So when you pursue something, you're actually have in mind, like you said, the idea of what you're gonna do when you get it. When you're chasing it, you just hoping you catch it.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm.
done chasing women. I said, I'm going to pursue this woman because she had all of the qualities that I want. So allow me to use my energy for good.
And it ties back to scripture. He who finds a wife finds a good thing.
Finds a
Finding
good
a
thing.
wife comes from pursuing the right woman,
Let
Yeah,
me tell you
not
something, man.
chasing.
You have to when you find a
fine.
wife, you have to pursue a wife. You can't pursue a hot girl looking for a hot girl summer. And I absolutely hate hot girl summer anything. Please stop saying it. Please stop saying yes. Please stop using false
Dang.
eyelashes.
Thank
And
you.
let's please get rid of the quick weaves. Now back to what I was saying. I
Oh.
I can't when I knew I was going to pursue my wife once again, I knew what I wanted. I had established what I was going to have in a woman, and I saw her. I found her. Thus, I found a wife.
I know I'm asking for y'all to repeat things, but can
He
you
said,
please say that
"Hey,
again for the
oh
people
wait,
in the
he
back?
he didn't say he found a woman. He said he found a wife."
I
Ooh.
found a wife. But the problem is there's so many women in this younger generation who don't want to give off the wife tendencies because they want to hold that. They want to hold that until you say I do, and then they won't. They gonna say I do and then won't. Let me tell you something, man. When I pursued a wife, I knew all of her I do's meant I do. And they did. And
Yeah.
I commend her for that. There are too many women out here now who say I do and won't. And they know when they say I do that they won't. And then they wonder why it doesn't work. And
Yeah.
guys are just as guilty as
Right.
the women. You can't, once again, please, please. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Y'all know my heart. Guys, stop marrying strippers. Can,
Whoa,
can,
whoa, whoa. Wait,
can
what? You mean what
can we
Ludacris
say
said
that?
was right?
What Ludacris said was right. You can't turn them to a housewife. Look,
No.
stop it.
The great
Because see,
theologian,
I don't understand as a
Ludacris.
male. I don't understand as a male how you can marry a stripper. That's your wife, and you send her out there to be paid and gawked at by millions, thousands, hundreds
And The Rock
other
means
men.
millions.
And The Rock means millions. Like how? And then you have a lot of guys who, well, I'm secure in my manhood. This is what I can do. Okay, look. When my child grows up, I don't want him to look on the internet and realize, oh, mama, you was in Playboy. Oh, that's what's up. It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not because you wouldn't want your daughter to do that. You want your children to be better than you is what I'm saying. So if you can prevent the mistakes you made, if you can prevent your children from making those mistakes. Most parents will. So a lot of parents, and there are a lot of successful strippers. Kareen Steffens is one of them, aka Superhead. She's successful, and she paid millions of dollars to have her stuff taken off the internet. But I guarantee she don't want her son, 13 years old, finding out that her nickname used to be Superhead. What does that do for you?
Mm.
What does
Mm.
it do? All I'm saying is that there have to be a lot better of life choices that you can make to set a better example for your kids, and there have to be a lot better of people out here not allowing you to make these choices. If I was dating back in high school, there's no way in heck my girlfriend's gonna have an OnlyFans, and I'm cool with it. Why?
Yeah,
How?
exactly.
But the fact that there are guys out here that still date these girls that say, "Oh, you can have an OnlyFans, I'm cool with it," is why they continue to do it. Stop it. Stop.
Leaves the door open for anything to come in. And I don't care about the lie that person that you're dating or society tries to feed you about being confident in yourself as a man. A man
Shut
don't
up.
allow that.
It does not.
Does not invite things into his home.
It has
Thank
nothing
you.
to do. It has nothing to do with confidence. It has everything to do with morals and
Yep.
Right.
standards.
Yep. There's certain things you just won't stand for, man.
But those are good. Those are good manipulative points to try to throw up. Oh, you're
Of
just
course.
insecure, or you're just old fashioned, or you're just man,
You
we
don't
got
you don't trust me.
yeah,
No, I
bro.
don't. You're only fan with 10 million viewers.
Are you just a hoe? And what did Snoop Dogg? And what did Reverend Snoop Dogg
Emphasis on
tell?
the hoe.
What did Reverend Snoop Dogg tell us? We don't love them hoes.
We don't love them. We don't love them. We don't love them.
Now we can definitely continue in this direction the rest of the night, but I want to kind of bring in the next point of, we're talking about these people making these choices, and I think at some point in our lives, and what you guys and I myself can admit, we've had those friends who are constantly involving themselves in these situations, toxic situations, one after the other, and no matter how much you love them, no matter how much you advise them, they just going to continue down that path of destruction. So I gotta pose the question, guys. At what point do you let them go? I know some people are going to be quick to judge and say, you can't give up on a friend. You can't turn your back on a friend. Well, sometimes in a war, you got to realize it's not your battle, and you got to lay your gun down and remove yourself from the fight.
Yep. I'm gonna tell you what I learned, man, and this is a personal experience, man, is that sometimes, like with those friends, man, like you can still be there for them if they need you. But once you give somebody advice, you see they're not taking it. My problem with people like this is that people get upset when you give this person advice and they don't take it, and you still get mad at them. They haven't taken it the first 5 times. Why are you still getting upset? Furthermore, why are you still giving them advice? Let them learn to fall on their face in life. Like I have supported so many friends, and I have so many friends that I have to support from the background. I have so many friends that we can go through life and deal with situations standing side by side. But I have a few friends that I have to just step back and let you deal with life. Let it happen to you, and just know, hey, if I look back, I'm still there. Only once again, my circle of friends is small. I have a bunch of associates. I have a
Mm-hmm.
bunch of people that I say hey to and nod my head to. But I have very few people that consider friends, that I consider family. And for those people, like even for the people who are in my circle, I have no problem stepping back and letting you do you. Because once again, that's your life. I just feel I feel bad for it, man. I feel bad for him. Like I one of the things I believe in is loyalty. Like I believe you can have somebody who's family, but blood don't make you family. Loyalty makes
Right.
you family. The people who are there by your side, when you're going through your toughest situation, and for the people who continue to make those mistakes, let them make them. Like let them make them, because they have to learn for themselves. Once again, they have to come up with this own sense of accountability to say, hey, what I did was my fault. I can't put this on you. I can't stand the victim mentality. I'm not gonna go into victim mentality. I'm gonna pass it to Chris. Chris, you talk about it before I talk about anything.
I mean, one thing I've always appreciated is a person who can not only learn from their mistakes, but learn from the mistakes of others.
Yep.
And I mean, there are so many times in life where we can encounter a situation, a certain scenario where um, we could make a decision that won't be to our benefit. But the thing about it is like when you have that network of people around you, some things you don't have to go through.
You don't.
Uh, some lessons you can learn, indirectly instead of having to, have the brunt of every experience laid on your shoulders. Because I mean, and that just goes back to our earlier point. We were talking about being self aware and just, you just being knowledgeable and conscious of what other people have done and what they have been through. You can avoid a lot of different, issues.
Yep.
Uh, and like, relationships aren't hard. People, relationships are not difficult. People are. You know what I
Yes, bruh. Please say that again. Please,
mean?
bruh.
I'm just dropping quotables tonight, but relationships are not difficult. People are. I mean,
Mm.
that's just the case in so many instances, man. Like you have to just be around people who are agreeable to you as a person. You know what I mean? Not just another human, just somebody who's actually agreeable to you.
Yep.
Mm. You know, and it's okay to be in the trenches with someone, fighting the fight with them, and taking the blows with the ultimate intent of escaping that foxhole where you're being bombed around. But at some point, if you're not willing to change, you start affecting my health.
Mm.
You start taking life from me. And when you start taking life from me, how are you being loyal?
Yep, man. I once again, previous relationship, man. Dated a girl, man, and I thought she was it. I really did. I thought, hey, you know what? I think for the first time in my life, I might hear wedding bells. Like this might be it. But man, she was so toxic. She was definitely a glass is half empty kind of person. I don't know if
Mm.
you ever seen the movie Inside Out. She was Sadness. I
Yes.
don't know if you ever seen Winnie the Pooh. She was Eeyore. And I would come around, boy. I'm talking about, just happy balloons, confetti flying out my butt. I'm just happy. And here goes the mood killer, the Buzz Killington. I'm talking about negative Nancy, bitchy Brenda. Like I don't know what else you want to call it. Like she was just sad, and I was saying, why are you sad? I don't know. I just feel sad. Okay. The first time you said, I understand. A year later, if you're still sad and you don't know why, there is an issue, and you gotta find out what it is, because I can't be the sole source of your happiness, because like Chris said, you're killing me. Oh, you look good. I'm dying. Like for real, man. It
Well,
becomes so exhausting, man, to be that for somebody 24/7. And it's okay in a relationship if you're down and you need your partner to pick you up. Maybe that's what they're there for. But when you have to be the person to uplift somebody else all the time, every time, 24/7, it becomes so exhausting that you lose that piece of you that's happy, and thus both of y'all are
Yeah.
sitting there saying, now finally you didn't slip down to your place and said, and now they happy. Wow, thank you for killing that part of me. I'm I'm glad that part of me died made you ecstatic.
And you don't you never want to be with somebody who's comfortable being in the position of just sucking up all the oxygen in the room, bro.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
like you just any room they walk in, it's just death coming in right behind them. It's just you just go suffocate anybody who is in this vicinity, and that is again something that's what kick is when you have someone who is self-reflective, self-aware. It's like, everything can't revolve around me. If I'm somewhere, you know, other people have thoughts, feelings, and other viewpoints. I can't just go in every room and just suck up all the oxygen.
It's
You know
not
what I
all
mean?
about you.
Right.
Oh, man, I was reading in a business journal one time that people who are millionaires are genuinely hanging out with other people that are within $15,000 of what the other makes. So millionaire, it goes back. Millionaires hang out with millionaires. They're going to be with people who are the same mindset as they are. And on the other side of it, crackheads hang out with crackheads. Addicts hang out with addicts. People who are sad are going to hang out with with those who are sad. So no one's going to prescribe to your toxicity.
Nope.
Like I said, they'll be willing to hang around with the intent of getting out. But sometimes, man, you just got to leave those folks at the train station.
You got to, man. Because once again, when it comes at a cost of your own happiness, I'm gonna choose my happiness over somebody else's. Like I am going to, because see, I can support somebody else who's sad if I'm happy. I can supplement you. I can't supplement you nothing if both of us are miserable. Can't do it.
That's powerful. So, yeah, in short, men, quit simping, but don't stop being chivalrous.
No, don't, man.
But
But I mean, good girls are out there. They're few and far between. It took me about 28 years to find one, so I figured I wouldn't mess it up. So I went ahead and got married after 28 years. So stop thinking you got to be married in your early 20s.
And before we close up, I do feel like we need to bring excuse me, can't talk. We do need to bring up something that
That's all,
ties
folks.
directly to this whole conversation. Something that's been very big in the media here lately, and that's Michael B. Jordan.
Thank you. Yes. I'm sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
So
I'll wait.
it's been differing views on both sides of the spectrum when it comes to his situation. Chris, I'm gonna let you lead off with that, and let's talk about it.
Man, the only thing that was just peculiar to me with the Michael B. Jordan situation is for years, this dude been doing movies, and you'll hear on this talk show, this radio show, all the women, they like Michael B. Jordan, they swoon over him, and he's so nice, and hey, so on and so forth. Fine. He's been dating a certain female, Lori Harvey, and come to find out, I guess he proposed to her. He wanted to, make the relationship official. She declined that proposal. And now Michael B. Jordan is some old hag, some old geezer. He's her uncle and grandpa and all. All of a sudden, because she rejected him, now it's time to support another woman, because that's what it seems to be. Anything a woman does, there needs to be a co-sign committee
In
behind
a
it.
minute, I'm gonna need a sentimental. I ain't gonna go there. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna talk
Don't
about
do
Lizzo.
it. I try to get that damn song out of my head, but TikTok won't let me.
I'm gonna call it the cosign committee, bro. Just
Co-sign committed.
anything that a female is doing is like, oh, we don't. He ain't even that pretty. He ain't pretty. He ain't sexy. He ain't nothing. He old and. But just last week he was, he was desirable. He was, anybody would have been happy to be with him. Now, it's time to switch.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but his face is busted. You can do better than him.
You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Can continue.
No, that was it, man. Like, why do we live in that environment where you can't
because they feel as if they have to support each other,
and that itself is toxic.
It really is. Let me find something I don't agree with. Hey, Chris, me and you don't agree on something, but because we black, I'm gonna support you no matter what the hell you say. Damn what Justin says, even if it's right, because you black, I'm gonna support you.
That's bigotry against Irish people.
Stop. Like stop it, man. Like, and once again, I'm like you, man. I hate to see it because Michael Jordan was in People's magazines, top 10 sexiest men, and now she didn't turn them down, and now all these women, he's so old. Oh, I would never date Michael B. Jordan. Shut up, single woman. Yes, you would. You're lying. You're lying. I just don't like people not being honest with themselves, bro. It's obvious to tell sometimes when people are not being honest with themselves, and it's painful to watch. Honestly, like you can you can just see it. I just wish more people, man, honestly, would be realistic with themselves, surround themselves with the kind of people that tell them what they don't want to hear. If somebody's telling you what you don't want to hear, but it's the truth, you should listen. Don't get offended. Don't get your feelings hurt. Some people get their feelings hurt. They don't want to listen anymore. Don't get your feelings hurt and not listen. If it's the truth, ride with it. I'm not saying you got to hear somebody's negative opinion of you and be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to hear that. I can do better than no. No, hear them. Understand that what they're saying could be applied to what you're doing. Apply some of it and then go on. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. You can't go through life thinking, "Hey, I'm good the way I am." Somebody will have to. I hate it. I gotta say it again. Excuse me. I gotta use their mouth. You're gonna have to accept me for me. I gotta fix your lips to say that. I hate it. Accept me for me. Chill out. No, they don't.
Self-admittance and accountability provide growth, where self-denial provides destruction.
Oh, we ain't gonna let you slide with that, Jay. Jay, say it again. It's people sitting in
That's the title of the
show. Self-admittance and accountability will provide growth, where self-denial and deflection are going to provide destruction and an anchor.
Right on.
So,
right on.
Yeah, and I feel like we've accomplished a lot tonight, fellas. Great points, and folks. Our brilliance right now was nothing we wrote down or nothing scripted. We actually did it off the seat of our pants because we're just that damn good. And we didn't have topics until like 5 minutes before the show.
That's what we do.
That's just how we are. But no, the reason why we're successful in talking about these topics because, we're not basing what we say off of what's being done in the media, social media, what have you. It's coming from the heart. So that's why we're able to do what we do. And this is what this show's about, coming together and having real conversations. But we are getting close to the end. But before we wrap it up for good, I'm going to pass it around the room. Well, first of all, before I do that, folks who are watching right now and then those who will eventually watch the replay, if you have a specific topic that you would like to discuss, if you have any comments or whatnot, by all means, please leave comments down below. Or you can email Mr. Julian Todd. Would you take the time to give the folks your email address? That way, if there's any kind of questions or suggestions,
I will, man. JETodd007 Please hit me up, man. Send me your questions. I have a closing topic I want to close on. We're not afraid to discuss anything. I do mean anything. With that being said, Christina Aguilera walked on stage with a dildo strapped on around her waist and did a performance, and nobody's talking about that, and I have a problem with it. I wish somebody would say something about it because it is honestly ridiculous. Because if Anybody else walked on stage with a strap on, we would hear about it, but we're not hearing about it because nobody said it because it's there. You should really go watch it, and this is all for Pride Month. Like I have an issue with that. All I'm saying is go look it up. Send me a message about what you think about it and what message it was sending, and send me another message about what we can do about it because that has to stop. Last time I checked, you had to be 18 years older to see something like that. I don't know what concert she was doing, but she needs to stop it.
Well, and that will be a great topic for our next show, which will be in 2 weeks from today. Before I pass around and give you guys the opportunity to share your social media, Julian, you mentioned before we kind of got rolling that there were some comments and some statements, questions from fans concerning the last episode. If you can, kind of share a little bit of what you got.
Oh yeah, man, I most definitely will, man. I try to tie it into like what we talked about before, because one of the ladies asked, once again, like you said, Justin, we seem to have a negative outlook on the women in a relationship versus the male in a relationship. And let me say this, women, I have no problem with women in a relationship. I have a problem with non-logical people in a relationship, whether it's male or female, because you have men who wear their emotions on their sleeves just like you have females who wear their emotions on their sleeves. And my thing is put that shit up. Like, let me tell you something. Don't come in any relationship with any expectations. Come into a relationship getting to know somebody, because that way you won't feel bad when they let you down, and you'll be surprised when they actually uplift you. So many people come into a relationship with expectations thinking that someone is going to treat them a certain kind of way, and then when they don't do it exactly how they're thinking, they get upset with it. Don't do that. Like, come in, know what you want. If it's not what you want from the jump, don't convince yourself you can change this person, because you can't. Only person can change a person is a person and God, and that's the only two people that's gonna have anything to do with that. So don't throw your name in there and then be offended or be upset when it does not work. Another thing that I had someone come across and ask is that, once again, what's the difference, when it comes to women thinking emotionally versus men thinking logically? And this is the very funny part about it, because I was actually having a conversation with this person. We were talking about, the death of Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. And she asked, hey, like, did you like Kevin Samuels? Did you listen to him? Did you understand his message? I said, yes, I did. A lot of what he said, I completely agree with. And I had about two more guys with me sitting there talking, and we were kind of, one guy had never seen it before, another guy had seen it before, and me and he were talking about the things, some of the points that he pointed out, and he was kind of like, I understand what he's saying. And she was like, you know what? I would have this conversation with y'all, but I'm not gonna have this conversation because I'm gonna get too upset. I said, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. Logic versus emotion. We can have an actual conversation and agree to disagree without any of us getting upset. But you are going to choose to get emotional. See, this is the point I'm trying to prove. I no longer have to prove it. Thank you for doing it for me. All I'm saying is that, man, I wish more people had the capacity to sit down and have a conversation and agree to disagree, and to, just talk about different topics. So if you have that capacity, please come to the show. We would love to have you on here. We haven't had a lady on here yet. I would love to have a lady on the show. Hey, I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about the whys. I want to talk about the what ifs. I want to talk about, why this didn't work and why this did. So if you're out there, send us a message, jetod007 at gmail. And hey, let me know. Come on the show. We would love to talk to you.
It's amazing how if you ask somebody nowadays for their why, all of a sudden you're villainized and you're labeled as part of the problem. Honestly, if you can't give your why, you're part of the problem.
Yep.
But yeah, great show, fellas. Before we head out, Chris, starting with you, man, if you would give your contact information where folks can find you on social media, and when the release of your first TikTok video will happen.
We waiting on it.
Yeah, it's Mr. C.A. Parrish on everything, Instagram, TikTok. My first TikTok, man, that's gonna be a horror, man. I need y'all help on that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, we go. Stay tuned. Stay tuned for the first TikTok drop.
Good.
That's
good.
what's up, man. We will. All right, Mr. DYDC, it's up to you.
Mr. DYDC Incorporated. You
Mister.
know where to find me. I'm right here. I'm right in there. Mr. DYDC, TikTok, Instagram. It's never going to change. I've used that name so many times and it's never used before. Do me a favor. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. Send me your questions, man. I will answer your questions. Let me know what you want to know. 256, area code 205-334. I ain't gonna do it. I almost sang Ludacris song, but I'm married. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Hey, we're here, man. Hey, send us your question.
330-8004.
Hey, we're here. Send us your question. We love to hear from you. Hey, thank y'all for tuning in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that'll do it for us. And I'll remind everybody, tune in again 2 weeks from today, same time, 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern, right here on the Justin Riley Network YouTube channel. And as always, we are brought to you by Todd's Terrific Turf. Y'all have a great weekend and happy Father's Day to all fathers. Tomorrow's your day.
Happy Father's Day, fellas.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, sir.